Welcome back to my channel. Before we get into today's video, please click on the subscribe button, like and share your take on this video at the end. With that said, let's get into the video. So in this video, a lady's video makes a buzz on social media as she was heard talking about what's happening in Palestine. According to her, Americans kind of look of what's happening in Palestine and in the Middle East, and they think to themselves like, that's happening over there and that can never happen here. Now, the reason why this video is making trends on social media is because people took this video or are interpreting what she was saying differently, because according to her, this ignorance or mentality rather that Americans have is what makes them turn a blind eye to what is happening over there. Now, she also talks about gentrification and Cop City and how these two are really affecting people. Check out her video as she shares all this and how Palestinians know that their oppressor is not Israel but America.
Americans kind of look at what's happening in Palestine and in the Middle East, and they think to themselves like, oh, that's happening over there, that can never happen here, and it kind of allows them to turn a blind eye. But my question to Americans is, what do you guys think gentrification is? What do you guys think Cop City is about? Gentrification is a symptom of colonization, right? Like in America, we're taught that if you own a house, if you own land, if you own property, then you're untouchable. Like no one can take that from you. But that's far from the truth, right? How many communities have been completely rooted out because hedge fund billionaires wanted to buy up their block to build a stadium, a mall, a luxury apartment building or hotel? This happens so often here in America, right? And it usually happens like this. They'll pay, your neighbors a nice sum to kind of buy them out, and people will take the offer. And then for the people who are kind of resistant and people who are like, no, I just pretty much am done paying my mortgage, I don't want to leave. What they'll do is they'll send the city and state after you, and suddenly you're up to here with legal fees, and you simply cannot go up against $1 billion hedge fund. You're just like some 9-to-5 guy, you're just trying to feed your family. And then finally you decide to settle because you can't afford this. And then just to fuck with you because you wasted their time and you prolonged their project, they'll offer you half of what they originally offered. Just fuck with you. What do you guys think Cop City is about? All these cops are coming to Atlanta, to this facility in Atlanta to train. Who's teaching them? Who's trading tactics with them? Who has been trading tactics with the police in America for the past couple decades? Think. Gaza was a test city. It was a test city that was funded by the US. Palestinians know that their oppressor is not Israel. Their oppressor is America. Israel is the occupation. If America is their oppressor, then that means we live in the belly of the beast.
Now, like I said earlier, people took this video and interpreted it differently. For some, they feel like maybe the creator should have been more specific on what type of people she was referring to, because it's not all Americans. For my fellow black people, they feel they already know this, but what they say is never heard. For palm color people, they also had their own interpretation of this video. So with that said, check out this number of stitches as different people share their own thoughts on this video. I will be right back.
What's happening in Palestine and in the Middle East, and they think to themselves.
Now, and this is the thing that really pisses me off with people, is with people who, like, you can sometimes tell when people don't actually listen to black people or people who live in America and actually faces these issues in America. Because when y'all first start hearing about these issues, y'all try to act like, oh, it's all Americans doing this. This is shit I hate about. This is the shit I hate about people who you can tell don't be listening to people in the first place. Because y'all sit right here and y'all hear something and y'all act like, oh, this is something new, or this is something that all Americans don't even talk about. For one, specify who the hell y'all talking about. Y'all try too fucking hard to stay on the side of white people that y'all don't even want to specify white people anymore when it comes to certain shit. Y'all don't want to specify white Americans when it comes to certain shit. Y'all want to sit right here and, oh yeah, Americans. It's not Americans, it's white Americans. It's mostly them anyways. It's most of them sitting right here with this image, oh, this can never happen in America, because they never had to go through it. Black people been through shit like this. We have black neighborhoods that literally been bombed. We know shit like this can happen. You're not talking about us. You're not talking about us. Y'all motherfuckers know stuff like that because y'all don't listen to people in the first fucking place. And then two, it's okay to criticize white people outside America too. It's okay to criticize white people outside America. We don't always have to say America this and America that, rah, about some issues that's happened worldwide. If we're talking about something that specifically happened in America, okay, we we can specify America, but every time y'all come criticizing the West, somehow it's always an American problem, as if white Europeans don't have the same mindset. Like, as evidence when it came to Russia don't talk about the Ukraine, these folks on the news talk about some, I never imagined this happened in Europe. I never imagined this happened in Europe. I imagined this happening in a black or brown country, but never in Europe. And after y'all criticized it for a little while, and after that, y'all had nothing else to say about it. Like, nah, criticize these too. That's why they be on here trying to tell my ass talking about some, yeah, America's for people, America's doing that. Like, I know. You only know this because my people's told you this. Like,
Americans kind of look at what's happening in Palestine and in the Middle East, and they think to themselves,
so can I keep it real with y'all? Like, can I keep it 100? Y'all don't pay attention to black folks. Y'all don't listen to black folks. And you damn sure don't know the history of what has happened generationally over the last hundreds of years in the USA. Now, this is not speaking to that creator because her point is valid. And she is speaking on the parallels between gentrification in the US and what is happening in Palestine with the occupation. Now, what I'm about to say is not for the purpose of division. It's not even for the purpose of pointing fingers. It is for the purpose of us acknowledging, specifically as people who identify themselves of color, that if we don't align ourselves together now, when are we going to do it? I personally, in my heart of hearts, believe everybody should be going hard in the paint for Palestine, and also for the Congo, and also for Haiti, and also for Tigray and Sudan, and the backyards of your home. Chicago, DC, LA, Flint, Detroit, the boroughs of New York City. It shouldn't have taken this for you to question your elected officials. Our criminal justice system here should have had you doing that. And before George Floyd, black people have been telling y'all for generations our food, water, air, poisoned. And everybody goes about their business. After 9/11, y'all demonized Muslims so bad that y'all weren't even checking for the fact that there was a World Trade Center BOM being in 1993. And had you picked up them breadcrumbs, it would have led you to the promised land. And on the flip side of that, especially me being a black Muslim woman, it's interesting now to see so many Muslims out here protesting, doing the things, because that's what we're supposed to do. Specifically, Islamically, we are supposed to stand up for truth. But when BLM was happening, I remember a lot of y'all religious leaders, and I'm going to say y'all religious leaders because they're not leading me nowhere, was saying that it was haram to protest. But it's not now. When Biden sent back those Haitian people who are under a bridge in Texas, we should have been in an uproar. In 2016, Obama said that he will not rest until the water in Flint, Michigan was safe to drink and cook with. Flint still has contaminated water, and Jackson, Mississippi, and Baltimore, Maryland, and Hawaii. You should not be just now questioning where your tax dollars are going, especially knowing that those go to private prisons, and the most people that are impacted by the prison systems are black men, black women, and black children. And had we been more diligent with the problems that we have right in our own backyards, there is no way that they could continue to do the things that they are doing in Palestine, in Congo, Haiti, in Sudan, and the list goes on.
Communities have been completely rooted out because hedge fund billionaires wanted to buy up their...
Obligatory go watch your video, but yeah, you know that one movie where the billionaire tries to buy up a whole neighborhood so that they can turn it into a parking lot mall or whatever? You know, the inciting incident of every movie in the past 40 years, basically. Yeah, well, that's not just a trope. It's based on something that actually happens, except instead of a plucky protagonist getting the neighborhood together to run the mean old billionaire out of town, usually what happens is the billionaire will toss the crap out of anyone that doesn't immediately accept their offer, and they'll house them with means including, but not limited to, invoking eminent domain. Look it up, it's in the Constitution, until they get a fraction of what their house was valued at, the billionaires get richer, and we all lose access to affordable amenities and rights. You're not safe from the beast just because you're in its belly.
And in the Middle East, and they think to themselves,
go watch her whole video because it's full of really great stuff. But it touches on some things I've been processing, just rattling around in my head over the last few weeks, and that is this. I see the Israeli government and the United States government as two sides of the same coin of narcissism, one being overt, Israel, and the United States being the covert narcissist. Meaning everything that's happening in Palestine by the occupation of Israel is very in your face, right? It's brutal, it's unapologetic, it is blatantly racist. It is clear or tied. It is occurs and, false and unjust imprisonments and separate legal systems and all of those things. And it's in your face. You cannot deny it. Now, we still are trying, not we, but many, especially the United States, government-wise, are trying to justify it and come up with some excuses that just don't hold water. But it's in your face.
Now, I want us to first look at the two interesting things she mentioned, which are gentrification and Cop City. Let's start with gentrification. This is the process whereby the character of a poor urban area is changed by wealthier people moving in, improving housing, and attracting new businesses, often displacing current inhabitants in the process. Now, it is literally the clash between the power of private capital and government policy and the power of people in targeted communities to preserve their homes and heritage. The demographic and economic shift that displaces established working class communities and communities of color in favor of wealthier newcomers and real estate development companies. Now, the heavy private investment in target neighborhoods causes price to rise sharply, and amenities enjoyed by the new residents, such as more expensive shopping and dining, drive out businesses that were supported by the established community. This process leaves neighborhoods that generations have called home transformed in a few years. Gentrification is derived from the word gentry, which historically referred to people of an elevated social status. So in the United Kingdom, the term landed gentry originally described landowners who could live off of the rental income from their properties. In its current context, gentrification was first popularized by the British sociologist Ruth Glass in 1964, when she used the term to describe the influx of middle-class people into London's working-class neighborhoods, displacing the former residents of those localities. Now, numerous cities around the world experience the phenomenon of gentrification, which can have a direct impact on housing market dynamics. In most major cities, most neighborhoods that were previously less than desirable have morphed into vibrant districts with plush condominiums and offices, new coffee shops and restaurants, expensive retail storefronts, and various entertainment choices. Gentrification is a complex social issue with both benefits and drawbacks. Young families welcome the opportunity to buy reasonably priced homes in a safe community with sound infrastructure and a wide choice of amenities and services. Local municipalities and governments also benefit from collecting high taxes on rising property values and increased economic activity. However, the neighborhood's original inhabitants, also families as well as singles of various ages, are often displaced from the very community that they helped build because of rising rents and a higher cost of living. Gentrification has become controversial because historically it has come with a significant component of discrimination against racial minorities, women and children, the poor and older adults. Even as it may bring about a reversal in the decline of a city, displacement caused by gentrification can force prior residents into poorer and relatively unsafe areas with limited access to affordable housing, healthy food choices, and social networks. In turn, this can trigger increased stress levels and increased mental health. Now, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, vulnerable segments of the population are at increased risk for negative health effects of gentrification, such as shorter life expectancies and increased rates of cancer, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. Displacement often leads to exclusion of the original residents, particularly people of color, and a lack of government support for low-income housing assistance, for example, as well as weakened social and community ties. Now, coming to Cop City, the Atlanta Public Safety Training Center, commonly known as Cop City, is a police and fire services training campus under construction in the South River Forest area near Atlanta, Georgia, United States. Now, much of the land included in the plans was formerly part of the old Atlanta prison farm, which was abandoned in 1995. In 2021, the location was identified by the city of Atlanta as the only suitable location to build the training center. Now, this resulted in the development of Stop Cop City, a multi-faceted movement opposing the construction of the training center. In January 2023, a member of the Stop Cop City movement was fatally pupilled by Atlanta police. Following the pupilling, law enforcement accused Tehran of firing at officers, but forensic evidence later showed that was false. Protesters affiliated with the Stop Cop City movement were arrested in late 2022 and early 2023 charged with domestic terrorism offenses. the validity of these charges has been called into question and created a nationwide controversy, which she has linked in this video to what the Palestinians are going through at the moment, and has even said that Americans are the ones who are responsible, or rather the true oppressors for the Palestinian people. But what do you, my viewers, have to say about what she said in this video? All the way from the main video, the stitches, where my fellow black brothers and sisters have their own side of the story, and where palm color people had their own thing to say as well. Feel free to share your comments or your take on this video. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next video.